Hello lovelies, I'm Sienna. You're welcome to Alake YouTube channel. The first time of watching my video, please kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel, and also click on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new tutorial. So today's video is on how to draft half scale bodies. Half scale basic bodies. So your half scale basic bodies runs through from your shoulder to your half length, or let's say the waistline, for the front and for the back. So the front half scale is different from the back half scale. So I'm just going to get right into the video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking around. I love you. Please don't forget to subscribe. For this, the measurements you need your shoulder measurement, your bust circumference, that is round your bust, your waist circumference, your front half length. Like I mentioned earlier, the front half length is longer than the back because of the bust in the front there. So just measure it. If you don't know how to take your measurements, please, I'll link down how to take body measurements in the description box. Also the back half length, the shoulder to nipple measurements, and your bust span. So that's all the measurements you need for this. So to start off this tutorial, I'll first divide the biggest measurement I have here first into two. So the biggest measurement I have here is 34. That was the circumferences. I'm talking about circumferences right now, and even all through. So the biggest circumference I have here is 34. So I will divide the 34 into 2. So 34 divided by 2 equals to 17. So to that 17, I will add extra 2 inches so as to have enough room to work. So 17 plus 2 equals to 19. So on my pattern paper here, on the horizontal line here, on the horizontal, this is the horizontal and this is the vertical. So on the horizontal line here, I'm going to measure that 19 inches. Remember, the biggest circumference divided by 2 plus 2 inches. So I'm just going to do that right now. So 17 plus 2 equals to 19. So from the edge of my paper here, make sure that the edge of the paper is straight. If it's not straight, you can just rule a borderline here. But because the edge of my paper is straight, I'm just going to go right and mark my 19 inches. 19 inches. So I have 19 inches here. So I'm still going to divide that 19 inches into 2. So 19 divided by 2 equals to, will give us 9.5. So I will divide this paper into 2. So I have 9.5 on one side and 9.5 on the other side. So I'll connect the lines together. So that means I'll use one side for the half of the front and one side for the half of the back, because the front and the back is not the same. That's why we have to draft one part for the front and one part of the back. So this side, I use this side for the front. This side will be CF, that is center F, center front, and this side will be CB, center back. So this is where I will input the front measurement, and this is the where I will put the back measurement. So for the front half length is 16 inches. So I'm just going to input the 16 inches on the front part here. So the length, that's the vertical measurement, 16 inches. So on this side, I'll input the back half length, which is the 14 inches. So I'll connect the lines together. So this is the front and this is the back. So front half length, we can just name it the waistline too because it's also the waistline. So half length, front half length, and back half length, like that. Or it can also serve as the waistline too. So now for the front, I will input the shoulder measurements. So the shoulder is 14 and I have to divide the shoulder by 2 because we are drafting half of the front. So 14 divided by 2 equals to 7. So on this line here, I'm going to input the 7 inches. This is the shoulder measurement, 7 inches. So now I'm going to do the neckline. The neckline for an average for adult, is 3 by 3 inches. So if you are working with a plus size measurement, you can do 3.5 by 3. That is 3.5 on the neck width, and for the depth you do 3.5 too. 3.5 by 3.5. That's for plus size. Let's say from bust 38 or 40 thereabouts. So I'll use my curve ruler to do the curve like that. So this is the front. So now on this where I mark the 7 inches here for the shoulder, I'm going to come down by 1.5 because the shoulder is not straight. So for the front, the shoulder slope is 1.5 for the front. So from here, I'm going to connect it to the shoulder. From the 1.5, I'm going to connect it to the shoulder. So see the shoulder slope for the front. And on the back side, I will input the shoulder measurement too, which is 7 from the center back. We started from the center front. So from the center back, we're going to input the 7 inches. And for the back, for average, is 3 by 1. If you are working with a plus size, you can do 3.5 by 1. So 1 for the back is 1, depending on size. Neck depth for the back depth, but for the width, you can do 3.5 for a plus size. So by 1. So I'll use my curve ruler to do the curve. Like that. So on this 7.5 inches, we slope the shoulder for the front by 1 inch, by 1.5. For the back, we'll be doing 1 inch because the front shoulder line is deeper than the back. So what the next thing I'll do is to connect from this 1.1 inches to the neckline here. So the next measurement I'll input is the armhole measurement, and the formula to get the armhole is the bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. The bust is 34 rather. So the bust I'm working with is 34. So whatever bust you're working with, you divide it by 6, then you add 1.5 to it. So the bust here is 34. So 34 divided by 6 equals to 5.6 plus 1.5. 1.5 is standard for all sizes. So plus 1.5 equals to 7.1. So that means from where I did the shoulder slope, I'm going to measure the 7.1 there. 7.1 there. So I'll just connect it. So this line that I did here, I will take it straight to the back because the same chest line you use for the front is what you should use for the back. So I'll take the line straight to the back. So this line will serve as the chest line. So chest line is CL, chest line for the front and for the back. So from here, on this chest line that we just did here, I'm going to measure input the shoulder measurement divided by 2, and the shoulder measurement is 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I'll input the 7 inches here on this chest line. So I'll connect from here down to here. So you know what, the measurement we have here is 7.1, so I'll just divide it by 2. Dividing it by 2, so whatever I have on the where I divide it, I'm going to mark where we divided it here. So from where we mark it here, I'll go in by 0.75. This is for the front armhole. This will eliminate any puffness around the armhole area. If you have made a dress or a top, anyone, and you notice that there's some kind of puffness, once you go in like this, it will reduce that. So I'll just connect from this to this place first now. And the next measurement I'm going to do now is the bust circumference. And the bust circumference I'm working with is 34. So 34 divided by 4. Why did I divide it by 4? It's because we are drafting half of the front. That is, this is the 1/4 of the total measurement. The same thing for the back too. 1/4 of the total measurement. So that's how I'm dividing it by 4. So 34 divided by 4 equals to 8.5. So the 8.5 I'm going to input on this chest line. I'll just input it there. 8.5. 8.5. So next thing I'll do is to use my curve ruler to finish up the armhole like that. So this is the front armhole. So for the back too, the same thing for the back. The same thing I did for the front is what I do. I will input the shoulder measurement on the chest line here, which is 7 inches. Then I will connect the lines together from here to here. So whatever I have left on this line, I'm going to measure it and then divide it by 2. So divide it by 2 here. I'm going to mark where this. So from here I'm going in by 0.5. You know, for the front we go in by 0.75. So for the back we go in by 0.5. So on this side I'm going to go in by 0.5. So I'll use this to connect from here to here. So the next thing is to input the 1/4 of the bust measurement, which is 8.5. So I'll finish up the armhole with the curve ruler. So that is it for the back too. So the next measurement I'm going to input here is the shoulder to nipple, which is needed for the front. So the shoulder to nipple is 10.5. So I'll measure it from the tip here, 10.5 inches. This measurement is only for the front because it will serve as the bust line and there is no bust at the back, so there's no need for. So we call this line the bust line or the NP, BL or NP, nipple point. So whatever you call it, it's just that. So the next measurement we input is the bust span. The bust span is from one nipple to the other. So the bust span I'm working with here is 7 inches. So 7 inches, I'll divide it by 2. 7 divided by 2 equals to 3.5. So that 3.5 on the half length here, or let's call it the waistline here, I'm going to input the 3.5 there. 3.5, and also on this line too, on the bust line you measure that 3.5 or whatever yours is. If it's 8 it will be 4, if it's 9 to be 4.5, so whatever you're working with. So I've input that. So coming down from the bust line, you come down by 1 inch for 1 inch. But if you're working with the plus size, you can come down by 0.5. But this is not a plus size measurement I'm working with, so whatever measurement you're working with, but you can just do 1 inch too. So for the dart, I'll be doing 0.5 on both sides, depending on the size you're working with, because I keep mentioning that if you're working with plus size, you need to increase the measurement. So if you're working with plus size, you can do 0.75 on both sides, or 1 inch on both sides. So 0.5 on this side and 0.5 on the other. That means we take 1 inch for that. For this, for if you're working with plus size, you can make it 1.5. That's 0.5 on this side, 0.75 rather on this side, and 0.05 on this side, or 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side too. So the next measurement I will input is the waist circumference. The waist circumference I'm working with here is 20. The waist circumference I'm working with here is 28. So 28 divided by 4 equals to 7. Equals to 7. So on the waistline here, I'll input the 7 inches, but because I've taken 1 inch for that, I will have to replace that 1 inch, because that will be taken out of the measurement, so to not affect your bodies, so you have to return it. So 7 inches plus 1 inch that we've taken for the dart. So this is our new waist measurement here. So I'll connect from the chest line down straight to the waist line, or the half length, and this is the front bodice. So the last thing I'll do for the front is to take the bust dart, because this is a bust dart technique. I forgot to mention earlier, this method of pattern drafting that I'm doing right now is the bust dart technique. That means once whatever the measurement difference you have from your front length and your back length, you must take it on the front length, and this has to do with taking it from your bust line down like this. So the front length I'm working with is 16, while the back length is 14. So 16 minus 14 equals to 2. So whatever measurement you have, just might be 1 inch difference. It might be 2, it might be 2.5 or 3. So whatever difference, you have to take it from your bust line here. So the difference I'm working with is 2 inches. So the 2 inches here, I'll measure it from the bust line. You come down by whatever your difference you are working with, the measurements. So from here, you're going to connect it straight down to your bust line. So I'll connect it. So I've connected. So please don't ever forget to take your bust dart. It is very important. Once you're using this pattern drafting method, there are a lot of methods in pattern drafting, so this is just one of them. So if you're working with this method, you must take your bust dart. This is the bust dart technique. So let's move to the back. Finish off the back, I'm going to input the bust span. The bust span is 3.5, because we use 7, but we divide by 3, that's 3.5. 7 divided by 2 equals to 3.5. So I'll input that on the half length here, and also on the chest line, because we don't have any bust line at the back. So I'll connect the two dots together, and here we have it. So the same thing that I take for the back is what I'll take for the front, rather, is what I'll take for the back. So ½ inch on both sides for the dart, ½ inch. So half on this side, half on this side. I'll connect it straight to the chest line. So this is it for the chest line. So the next thing is to input the waist measurement, which is 28 divided by 4 is 7. But because we've taken 1 inch for the dart already, that means we're going to return it. So 7 inches plus 1 inch for that means it's 8 inches. So I'll input that here. Then I'll connect from the chest line down to the waist, like that. So this is all for the what, for the back. So the last thing I'll do for the back is to take the back dart. That was the back sway. You notice if you made your dress and you notice that there's a kind of folding at the back at the zip area, so you need to take your back dart to eliminate that. So the back dart, let's say from 0.5, 0.75 to 1 inch, you can take as much as 1 inch for plus size. But for this size, I'll be taking 0.75 on this line here, on the half length here, or the, let's say, the back waistline. So from this, I'll connect it straight down to the what, to the neck line. Take it straight down there. So this will eliminate any kind of roughness at the back of your dress. So I've taken 0.75. That means I must return it back because I've been taken off, and to avoid any shortage, you have to return it. So I'll return from whatever I have here. I'm going to return it back here, and the same thing, because there are some measurement that I've been taking away on this side too. So on this chest line, straight up, I'm just going to measure the 8.5 again on this line here. I know the waist plus the 1 inches is 8, so I'll return it to 0.75 exactly on this side, and I'll measure it. So this is the new line for the back. So please, this is all for the upscale bodies, the front and the back. So this is how you draft your upscale bodies. This is where you create all styles you will need. You can use this if you are not working with any complicated style. So whatever you want to do, your bustier, your corsets, this is the basic for your half length. So thank you for watching. If not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel, and also click on the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new tutorial. I'm Sienna, and this is Alake YouTube channel. Until the next video, thank you for watching. I love you. Bye bye.